Welcome back on your Sunday morning. While former President Donald Trump spoke at a Save America rally in central Georgia yesterday, he used part of his time at the podium to take jabs at Governor Brian Kemp and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. The former president called both Raffensperger and Kemp rhinos, which stands for Republicans in name only, and called on the people of Georgia to vote the Republican leaders out of office. Governor Kemp did not attend the Save America event. Trump did shout out Republican Vernon Jones, who was there and intends to challenge Kemp for governor in the next election.
And your rhino governor, Brian Kemp, who's been a complete disaster on election integrity. He's been a complete and total disaster on election integrity. If you go in with a complaint.
Joining me now is Todd, moderator of Meet the Press. Good morning, Chuck. Thanks for being with us.
Well, good morning, Savannah.
Good morning. So, former President Trump at a rally in Georgia yesterday called Governor Kemp a complete and total disaster on election integrity. You know, if you're Governor Kemp running in 2022, do you address this? Do you even say, former President Trump's name in the campaign? Or, are you just kind of focusing on your own message and hoping that those Trump loyalists come around?
There's no good that comes with being a Republican that goes after Donald Trump if you're trying to win a primary. That's the bottom line. And obviously he wants to worry about a primary before he even gets to the general. Look, this is the situation. Former President Trump puts Republicans in impossible situations. You got a guy like Governor Kemp, who certainly owes his political fortunes to Donald Trump, and certainly Donald Trump believes. And this is where I think why it's so personal, right? Trump really believes that he and he alone created Governor Brian Kemp, right? That the truck, the pickup truck ad, if you will, the last minute endorsement, and it was a competitive primary. And that is how Donald Trump thinks about politics. I helped you, so therefore, no matter what I'm asking you to do, no matter how crazy it may sound, if you don't help me, I'm going to punish you. And that's the situation that the governor finds himself in, is that President Trump's essentially asking the governor to break the law, to violate the Constitution, and he's outraged that the governor wouldn't do that in this situation down there. So, but to fight it, it's politically very tough for him in a Republican primary. So that's the governor's problem.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll be an uphill battle. And just a day before that rally, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals chose not to make a ruling after hearing arguments from both sides on Georgia's controversial heartbeat law. Governor Kemp signing that anti-abortion bill in 2019, which at the time was one of the most restrictive in the country, later, of course, struck down by a federal court judge. Do you foresee that as being a big issue in the 2022 election, when we might really see some candidates hang their hat on, take a harder stance on to pull voters?
Well, it's interesting, and I think this gets into the sort of part two of my answer to the first question you asked, which is I think Governor Kemp, in an attempt to talk to conservative voters and avoid the Trump conversation, is hoping that his very conservative stance on abortion, on access to abortion, will be something that appeals to conservatives. So my point is that I expect that what the governor is going to do is ignore Trump as best he can and say, hey, look at these very conservative policies that he's doing, that he's on their side on this issue, this issue. He just isn't on their side on rigging a vote count. I think that's how I suspect we're going to see abortion play very heavily in the primaries. And then we'll see. I mean, this is one of those questions that the majority position on abortion is somewhere a little bit closer to the Democrats right now, their stance, than it is on the Republicans. So I don't know if that strident stance on abortion works in a general election, but I think Kemp's in a primary pickle, and I think he kind of has to go in that direction.
Yeah, I remember last week you said that the mask debate and the vaccine mandate debate might be kind of a similar issue that these candidates are trying to take a harder stance on. So it's interesting. Well, thank you so much, Chuck, for your perspective as always.
Savannah, thank you.
Thank you. Meet the Press airs today at 10 following the weekend morning news right here on 11 Alive.